We are live. It is 3:08 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:08 BST in the UK. It's a Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe coming to you live on September 24th, 2023. Hi, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you, sir. I'm a
Good.
bit knackered from iPhone launch, but yeah, all good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that now. I guess the first question is, like the Apple stores, do they have a line of people outside the O2 store waiting? Was it was there a
No,
queue forming?
no. Well, we did have queues forming a bit, but I mean, you know what it's like with the Pro Max. If you haven't pre-ordered it, you're not getting that on launch.
Right.
Like we was even before launch, we were doing pre-orders and it was saying sort of November as a predicted date. So yeah, I mean, anyone who walks in thinking they're going to walk in and get a Pro Max on launch without pre-ordering it, they're a bit silly.
Yeah. And I guess you can't.
Sam's turned into a dog.
No, not really. I'm trying. We didn't put the dogs away because this is a little off today, so it's all good.
It's all right. They're part of the family, mate.
Absolutely, and yes, the St. Louis City FC made the playoffs. Congratulations to St. Louis City FC. That's pretty sweet. It's a pretty good deal, man. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. That's pretty good. So I don't know how well they'll do. I mean, honestly, we were just happy to get a team here in St. Louis. So the fact that they made the playoffs in their first year is pretty sweet. Hopefully they can do well, catch fire, and do some damage. I don't think they'll win the whole thing. I don't think they're good enough to be. I would say probably the odds-on favorite. I would have said Seattle being a year, but man, LA having Messi's pretty cool. So I don't know, man.
LA
we'll
kit's
see.
nice as well. It's not LA, is it?
No, I'm sorry, Miami.
I was going to say, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Miami kit's pretty sweet as well.
Yeah, the pink. I'm like, I'm kind of feeling it. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so good luck to St. Louis City FC. Hopefully they can do some damage. If not, well, that's okay. You know what? I didn't expect them to if they would have just played 500 football the whole season, I'd have been happy with that. But the fact that they were pretty solid, I'm pretty excited, man. So we'll see.
You always stand a chance. Got to be in it to win it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what the beauty of the playoffs is. All you got to do is make it, right? Any team can catch fire, and then you got teams that are favorites that have a bad couple of outings and they're out the door, right?
The playoffs for you guys, is it like knockout?
I would assume so, and this is where I'm gonna have to lean on Scoop because I haven't been paying much attention this year to have it set up. I don't know if it's knockout. I'm assuming it's just a regular playoff like any other American sport, right? You basically you play it, you win, if you lose, you're done, And I don't know, and I think they just play one match, right? So they're not like in baseball, it depends. Like baseball, it starts off where you have the NLDS, the division series, right? So that's a best of 5, right? Okay. Or best of 3, and then the NLCS, the championship series. That's when the top 2 teams in the league will play for the division. That's a 5 games, and then the full World Series is a 7 game. It used to be, it's a little different. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just hope they can do pretty well. And if they lose in the first round or the first match, and they wind up losing, that's fine. At least you made it, right? Not everybody makes it, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's pretty good. And then you got the Cardinals. Funny. So St. Louis City FC it makes the playoffs, and the St. Louis Cardinals were officially eliminated from playoff contention because they're having a terrible season and they are just not playing well. Just not a good year.
There's only room for one good team.
Well, and then you got the Blues who, they're starting up here pretty soon. They're in preseason. So that, NHL starting up here pretty soon. And we don't have a basketball team in St. Louis. So it'll be the Blues. So we'll see how that goes. So we're pretty excited. Sports wise, we're finishing up a baseball season that we probably would like to forget, which is not traditionally how St. Louis likes. They're pretty big baseball city. So,
question, Sam, do you get notifications for when St. Louis play?
Yes, I do. So I have an app called The Score, which is pretty nice because it gives you like all sorts of it's just they're called The Score. Yeah,
I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and they got all sorts of stuff. So they've got it looks like that. It's called The Score.
We don't talk about apps enough, actually.
Yeah, so it's called The Score. Takes a second. Cool. And then it just comes up and you get Cardinals. Oh, the Bears playing today. Oh, boy. Kansas City. Probably going to get their ass kicked. But that's okay. Well, we'll see. But, yeah, it gives NF. And then you can pick the leagues. So at the bottom, it shows you the ones I'm following. You have MLB, NFL, basketball. Then you can pick, like, literally NASCAR, Formula One, MMA, Champions League, friendlies, World Cup qualifying in 26. I mean, there's all sorts of. It's a great app. It gives you notifications, scores. You can get notified when like the match starts, like halftime. When there's a lead change. I mean, it's a pretty nice app and it's free, so I recommend it. It's called The Score. So
what phone's that you're using at the moment?
This is I was just giving my the 10 Pro. Getting the 10 Pro a little. It has been stuck in a drawer for a couple of weeks, so thought I'd get it out today. Just kind of feeling it out.
Should,
so. And okay, so here's how it goes: 2 wildcard play-on games, best of 3 series, then knockout from semis. Highest seed left hosts. Okay,
semis.
Yeah, semis. So to MLS Cup, highest seed left hosts. Okay, yeah. So there you go. That kind of gets that break. So 2 wildcard play-on games. All right, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, we'll kind of go see how it goes. Yeah. So sports kind of, I guess, one season's ending. Thankfully, it's kind of mercifully. Baseball season, and then
Arsenal play Tottenham today.
The Spurs. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think they're not that good, right? Spurs are kind of
They're doing all right this season so far. Still early days, but yeah, we went ahead twice, but they equalised. Obviously, it ending 2-2. So yeah, disappointing. But I was at work, so I didn't get to see it.
I was gonna say I would think that's probably a match that normally Arsenal fans would probably think you should win that. Probably, right? I mean, Arsenal's a better football club, probably generally, right? Overall.
Yeah, I would say so, but I'm biased. But yeah, I'd say so. We've got a lot more history, and but yeah, I don't want to upset any Tottenham fans.
Well, it's okay.
Just in case we have any Tottenham fan listeners, I better not.
I don't think we do. I don't know if anybody. I don't think we do. It's kind of like we do. So it's funny is it's the Tottenham fans is kind of like a Detroit. I have yet to meet a Detroit Lions fan. An actual real that wasn't in Detroit, and even people in Detroit don't even like the Lions, which is kind of funny in football, American football. So it's kind of funny, but I've never just been out running around and see somebody. I mean, in St. Louis, you'll see we don't have a football team anymore, but you'll see Packers fans and definitely Chiefs fans now because they're, it's funny. 10 years ago, you didn't see a Chiefs sticker in this fucking city, but now all of a sudden everybody's a damn Chiefs fan, which I find is kind of hilarious, right? That's good to get a good quarterback and winning a couple of Super Bowls shows you how all of a sudden there's a bunch of fair weather fans. Now my buddy Joe, and it's funny, his name is Joe too. He's been a Chiefs fan his whole life. I remember when we were kids and like playing he's always been a Chiefs fan, and they've been bad. There were years where they were terrible. They were not a good football team. Kansas City, it's on the other side of Missouri, so it's about 4.5 hours. If you drove from St. Louis, there's an Interstate 70 that connects. It's kind of like the M25. 70 goes all the way from St. Louis on the eastern side to Kansas, directly to Kansas City. It's straight. It's like a straight motorway, and then in between is Columbia. That's where Mizzou, the school is, right? So basically, you can get to Kansas City in about 4 hours if you drove.
Is that your most local team now?
For football, technically, no. You got the Bears because if you go 4 hours north through Illinois to Chicago, you got the Bears. So I mean, and then if you go 4 hours into Tennessee, you got the Tennessee Titans, right? So there's actually 3 regional teams that are fairly close. I mean, within about 4 hours. So it really kind of depends. I don't know many Titans fans, but most people around here are Chiefs fans because they're the most popular team right now. But we'll see. And that's who the Bears are playing today. And the Bears have been fucking terrible. I just like they're almost giving me to the point where I don't even want to watch them anymore. That's how bad it's getting. Seriously, man. Yeah, man. It's been 30 years, and it's like they just never have a good quarterback, and they just never seem to win. I mean, they actually made the Super Bowl in 2006 with a quarterback that I swear to God, Joe, you could probably do better than this guy. I don't know how they made the Super Bowl. Seriously, I mean, Rex Grossman was terrible. He was, first of all, he was like 5'9". I mean, 5'9". He was like, he is a short guy. He's a short dude, and he was not that good. I mean, he's okay, I guess. He wasn't terrible. But I mean, if the Bears had a decent quarterback, I mean, anybody who's just moderately better, they would have won that Super Bowl. But I still don't know how they made it in 2006. It just seems like it's just terrible. It's terrible. So, and then this season it's just not. And now today they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs are just going to probably run them out the fucking stadium. It's going to be bad.
It's fine. You're British and you're a soccer fan anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm just fuck it. I'm done with American football. No, actually, I haven't watched much this year. I didn't either last year. I mean, honestly, this year with baseball, I didn't watch a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
Cardinal games. It's just because they started to get bad. It wasn't because they got bad. I didn't go to Cardinals games, but actually this did I go to one do I go to a Cardinal game this year at all? I don't think we did. This is the first year in probably 25 years that I didn't actually go to a live game. I don't think I did.
Boo.
I think I was going. Well, I got busy with stuff. I mean, work's been
Yeah.
busy and stuff. Life's been
Life
busy, and I
gets in the
just
way.
yeah. And then just like again, I could have got tickets for cheap because they were pretty easy to find, and we get people sell tickets at work all the time because what's cool at work is we have like our own internal it's like a Craigslist essentially where people sell stuff like everything from cars to stuff, and then there's always somebody selling Blues tickets or Cardinals tickets or whatever. And we didn't go this year. I don't know why. I just didn't go. It sucks, but
I love a Deech's comment. I don't like Ham, let alone Tottenham.
right. Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Anyway, so yeah, Tottenham.
It's sad.
That's
The channel has been renamed.
yeah. I didn't. We didn't. I don't know if anybody was paying attention, and probably not. But if you notice that we no longer have to differentiate when we talk about our YouTube channel. Apparently now the YouTube channel has now been changed to the Nomad Tech Project. So that's
Boss has
pretty.
changed it.
Yeah, Lenny's decided to go with that, and I think it's a good thing. I mean, I will kind of miss the Purposely Pixel just because that's how we started, right? It's nostalgic, but
Yeah.
it's a good change. I'm glad, I'm happy about it. So now we are now if you search Nomad Tech Project, you'll get not only the YouTube channel, but you get apparently if you search us, apparently we're on Audible.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so I just happened to search, just for
And we're a
giggles.
podcast about politics.
Well, and this is the thing. What I don't understand how this works. It goes to show you that it's funny. I guess it's hitting up on keywords. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how it's doing it. Hold on, I'm gonna put my other earbud in here. So if you search Nomad Tech Project, I got to show you this because I started looking at this. I'm like, this is what is happening here. I did not set this up. So just so everyone's clear in the chat, I didn't set this up. So so we'll go here. And we'll
We're not a podcast about politics, that's for sure.
Well, yeah. And so I go here, right? And so I got this, and I go down to Audible, and it says, look at the tag. Politics and government. I don't know how, but whatever. And so I go here. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I mean, I didn't set this up, but we're here. And so in case, if you're on an Audible, I have Audible. Actually, I'm a big fan because I like audiobooks. That's how I read. Because I can listen to in the car, which is kind of cool. And also, a lot of times they're read
It's
by
up to
the
date
author.
as well.
Yeah. And there, and then you go to the bottom. It's labeled politics and government. Okay, sure. I don't think we're a politics and government podcast, but
that might be why we get no listeners through Audible.
that's probably what it is. They're like, there's like, I think it would be under. I mean, considering the fact that the word tech is in the name, I would have thought that would have been enough to get it on the technology.
It's the projects part.
Yeah, who knows, man? And maybe I guess one time we mentioned a political thing about a news story or something like that, and here we are. All of a sudden, now we're I don't know, whatever. It's cool. So yeah, who knows? We're apparently we're a tech, we're a government and politics channel, which no offense, I'm not into that kind of stuff because I could care less. But anyway,
Deech has explained it. It's okay.
Oh, he did, yeah. Considering the fact that yes, that's true. And what's this thing? Have you noticed lately? On like TikTok and stuff like that, when I'm looking, I'm having to read the messages that my family sends to me because that's cool. But apparently now this thing about men thinking about the Roman Empire all the time. I don't know what that's about. I was like, well, all of a sudden it's like your man thinking about the Roman Empire. Not really. This is me, and it just like has like a gladiator like fighting and Roman legionary. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe who knows how that got started.
You're more with it than me, Sam. I don't know what you're talking about.
Why? I don't know. I just noticed it. So yeah, and of course, yeah. I mean, I guess I was around, A2 Brute. I guess that was me, right? I was the guy like across in the other side of the Senate. I'm like, oh man, somebody's stabbing Caesar. Really? Oh, okay. You still on for the bathhouse tonight? Okay, cool. So it's good. I don't care. But we'll see how it goes. But I don't know how we got under politics and government. That's just funny. First of all, I don't know how we got on Audible. And then because I didn't sign us up for that. I think I set us up for Google Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and I think maybe another one, maybe like another podcatcher, but never sign up for Audible.
It's on Amazon Music as well.
Yeah, which I didn't set that up because then when you set up your account, it tells you, like who you have to get validated. Like Apple Podcasts, they got to send a thing and you got to validate it, and they actually have to have shows. Right? There was a couple of processes in Google Podcast. I never set up Audible because I didn't know a lot of people use Audible as a podcatcher. I guess they do.
Getting value for money then.
Hey, you know what? We're spreading our collective shows across the internets and the webs, so we're getting out there,
spreading our political wings.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, we're apparently political pundits, right? Who knew, right? But I guess what's funny is, but it doesn't differentiate whether we're talking about UK politics or not,
no.
Right? Who knew?
I know nothing about politics. That's what's funniest thing about it.
I kind of do, but I guess I would call myself, I guess a peripheral watcher. I guess I don't really I don't have an opinion about it. I just kind of keep that to myself, just because it's just like, who cares? But anyway, so want to talk about, I watched a great video the other day, and I hadn't really thought about the Pixel 8 Pro much because, I've got the Fold 5 and I do like Pixels, and I've had Pixels, and I actually miss my Pixel 7. I really kind of wish I would have kept it. I still have the 4XL, but the battery life is just, honestly, I can't use it. I mean, as I'm using it, I mean, it's like after like 2.5 hours, it's toast.
Oh, it's a shame. It's a nice phone.
It's I love the hardware. I even don't mind the fact that it's got the bezel at the top for the Soli radar. I love it. I still use it, but man, if it charged as fast as this, I would use it, because then I was like, well, I don't give a shit. It's not a big deal. But no, it's I think I might get 3 hours of screen on time, and that was, I guess, always the knock against the 4XL, right? It was just battery wise
as well. So.
Right. And then I haven't, it's just a shame because I love the orange. I really wish I like the orange with the orange button. I just love that aesthetic. I just, I really do.
So I had the white one. I had the Panda.
Yeah, the Panda. So, but I noticed I was watching, and I wasn't really paying much attention about, because, obviously the leaks are going to start coming in about the 8 and 8 Pro, right?
Yeah. They're coming up thick and fast now.
friend. Oh yeah. Now we're at the point where it's about ready to launch. So of course now you're going to get, you might even get a technical diagram too while you're at it. But I noticed that friend of the show, Scary If Literal, Shane put out a video where he's talking about the capabilities, the new ones of the 8 Pro. Dude, what is happening? First of all, audio, and then taking an image and then like cropping it and moving the subject into the middle. Like, dude, some of the features on the camera, and now you got pro mode. We got like pro mode features on the camera.
Pro mode is something that Chad, for example, has been shouting out for a long, long time.
I saw this video. I guess he was talking about the parts of the video, I guess, with Google. I'm like, dude, I don't think I've ever wanted a Pixel more in my life than that 8 Pro. That is an incredible set of features, man.
Impressive.
And
apparently the capability looks like it's going to move on quite a bit as well.
Well, I mean, it's going to, I don't think it's going to match the iPhone 15, but I mean, it's going to get a lot better. But I mean, just those
near it.
Well, then you got the call screening and, and the astrophotography. I mean, all these features now with these Pixels. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you were on the fence about the Pixel, I would say the 8 Pro are probably where you need to jump on and give this thing a swing, because I mean, now again, granted, I say this because I don't care what you really buy out there, folks. If you buy whatever you want, if you're an Apple person, an iPhone person, if you're into OnePlus, want foldables, trust me, I know all about that life. But I'm just telling you, if you were maybe kind of not impressed with the 6 and the new Tensor chip, and then G2 still having some thermal issues, and and the slow charging, and doesn't have 32-bit, and there's no video out. I'm telling you right now, not all those things have been satisfied for people. But man, if you were looking on the Pixel as far as capability on the Android space, I would say the Pixel 8 Pro is definitely a phone you might want to maybe come off of the Samsung, or maybe if you have an older LG or another phone, you might, or if you're holding on to your like Pixel 4a 5G or something, this might be the one to go for if you can get a pretty sweet deal. I think it's going to be
free as well. The rumors are that it's going to be sort of in line with 8 Gen 2 from Snapdragon, which obviously that's last year's chip now, kind of. But that's quite a good chip to be compared to.
Well, yeah, and again,
For
we're
power.
just gonna have to wait and see how it performs, and when it gets in real world use. But I couldn't, when I was watching some of those, the video and just like the video, like basically a night video essentially, and
Yeah.
then instead of Magic Eraser, but I mean they had one where they took a person, it was on the left margin of and they shifted them completely to the center of the shot. I was like,
I
oh,
see it as well. Yeah, I've seen it. I've
okay.
seen the same video as you.
Yeah,
And
it was amazing. I was like, that is pretty awesome if you ask me, as far as
and
just
the
from a
group
phone.
shot where they changed the faces.
Oh yeah, where it basically,
Bit
if
freaky, but
yeah, I don't know if I would use that, because that's, I think I would just let that
no,
go.
but
But if
dude,
you had
how
it
many times do you take a group shot, a family shot, and there's one person blinking or
right, or looking
not
off,
looking or
right, and the fact that you could kind of take an image from some, and you can actually, granted, it's almost like kind of photoshoppy, kind of in the
yeah,
in the implementation, but man, I mean, it's pretty cool that you can just like, hey, if somebody's blinking, instead of ditching the whole shot, you can get a face in there, and if it looked okay. Now, and again, this is going to be one of those things where in real world use,
let's see
what
what it's. Yeah,
what image is it going to pull, and is it going to look? I mean, is it going to look really off? Like you'll have all these normal, and then my question would be, if you showed it to a regular person, like just showed it to them, would they be able to tell the fixed face? Like, could they tell just by, oh, yeah, that one is clearly not the face of the person, right?
yeah, that's the thing.
If
Yeah,
if they can't tell and it looks pretty good, that's going to be pretty
I
impressive.
think it's one of them where it's going to work better on some images than others.
Well, you just
Um,
like anything else with Magic Eraser, some images you can kind of, it's a little bit
that's the
more.
thing. Magic Eraser, sometimes it looks really rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, it just
And people
depends
are
on
like,
the
look,
image.
check this out. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's a little rough, dude. I don't know. I mean, are you saying the same image that I'm seeing? Because
Yeah.
this doesn't look good at all, dude. You might want to just take that picture again, or just let that
Yeah,
incident
you
go.
might have been better off cropping it instead.
I will tell you, what I'm really more interested in. So that's all great, all the software side, but I'm curious, the thermals and battery
Yeah.
life, and
And the
then
modem.
also, and the modem, yeah, and also the charging speeds. We got to get,
Well, the charging speeds, we know that's not going anywhere. So
yeah, it's just like, I can't get, that's the one thing. It's like, I mean, I'm not asking for super VOOC, right? I'm not asking for 67 watt, but if Motorola and most of these companies can put, I mean, hell, when I bought the Moto Edge 2022 Plus, it came with a 33 watt charger in the box.
yeah.
And that was pretty good. I mean, even 35 watts, if you can get there, I'm okay with it. But
I think Sammy's got it right with the 45 watt.
yeah,
That's a
I
nice
think,
sort of point.
yeah, I mean, 67 is not too bad. I mean, some of these are like, I think what's the one Super VOOC is like 200 or 120. I mean,
It's crazy.
I mean, it's like, yeah, you could charge your phone from 0 to 100 in 19 minutes. I'm like, okay, that's crazy. Like, I don't think you're going to need to do that. But I think, yeah, I think you're right. I really wish they would, that is, especially with the Pixel Fold. I'm sorry, what's the charging speed of that? It's like, I think from dead to 100 is like almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or like, it's like, come on, man. That's
See, for me, it's not a major issue because I tend to charge overnight, which is not the best.
right.
Granted, but I tend to. But it's that odd occasion where you don't. That it's like, oh, I
Well,
wish it went
right, and then
faster.
and for me, what nice is, I luckily for me, I guess when it comes to charging, it's great. On any other reason, it sucks. But I drive an hour to work. Well, it's about, actually not. It's about 51 minutes or 50 minutes, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, even with the regular, the charger, I got a little Anker, little thing, and it plugs into the cigarette lighter, right?
Yeah.
Usually by the time I get to work, if it's like in the 30s or 40s, I can almost get it to 100%. It's like 85 to 90, even on any phone, even on the Fold. And even, or my bank device, which is an iPhone. I think it's a 13. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So it's but yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, it's like, I think if they would increase the charging speeds to like 35 watts, I think that would be awesome. And Jermaine, through Jermaine's lens, Jermaine's in the chat, and Sean, what up, dude? Let's go, G-Men. All right. I mean, some of these teams got to win today, and sure as hell ain't going to be the Bears. Well, although if the Bears finally, they haven't won a game. The Bears haven't won a game since October 24th of last year. Yeah, that's a thing.
Really?
Yeah, and so it'd be funny if they beat the Chiefs today. That would be hilarious. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to get their asses kicked, but it's okay. Yeah, and then it's okay. You don't have to contribute. Jimmy I know he's got a bunch of stuff going on. He's editing. He's going to be doing some animations, and of course, yeah,
Man,
we're
he's a
all
busy
well.
guy.
Actually, Thursday and Friday I had a little bit of a head cold. I still did the TNC podcast, and I felt okay. But yeah, I mean, so I'm just coming. I guess I feel fine today. Yeah. Oh, the Giants aren't playing today. Well, I guess they won't lose. That's true. I thought, well, they got the Monday night game or they got a bye. It can't be a bye already. There's no way. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Well, hopefully they'll play soon. And when whoever they're playing, they don't. I don't know about their quarterback situation though. It's a little rough in the G-men situation. But anyway, and Ibrahim, welcome, sir. Thanks for showing up. So,
Pixel. You're talking about Pixels.
yeah. So the Pixels, oh, they played Sunday and Thursday. Okay. So yeah, the Pixels. So that's the one thing, the charging. I really wish they would, man, again, not a total deal breaker. I'm not asking for Super VOOC, but I mean, maybe 25, 30 watt, 35 watt, just something to kind of get it to where other flagships are in the space, especially if you're paying the prices. I mean, and I didn't see, did you happen to see pricing for the 8 Pro? I know it's not official.
That's the only thing I saw some pricing, but I don't know how true it is. That it's going up quite a lot. But I don't know.
Yeah. I'm assuming then we're talking about are we talking about a Pixel 8 Pro north of $1,000? I guess that's where we are.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I hope it's not true, but they're adding was it a 48 megapixel ultra wide, aren't they?
Holy shit. Wait a minute. I can't. Sorry. Ibrahim said that the Dolphins beat the Broncos 70-20. I'm like, there's no way. He must be talking about something else. And sure enough, the Dolphins beat the Broncos 70-20. In football, I haven't seen a score in the 70s in an NFL game in probably 30 years.
Do you know what? I thought you said holy shit because I said it's got a 48 megapixel ultra wide. I was like, it's not that impressive.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, here, I'll tell you, this is how crazy this is, Joe. The Dolphins have scored 70 points, the most in a single NFL game since 1966.
Real? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some like high 50s. I thought I seen a 62 one time, but for a regular, not in the overtime, that doesn't count, right? So extra time. The fact that the Dolphins put 70 points on the Broncos, I mean, that's
Broncos bad or
no. I mean, yeah, this year they're terrible. Which is funny because they got a brand new coach who they have the coach that was from the Saints, who was Sean Payton. Well, the funny thing is, in football, that's bad, but in Champions League, that's like getting beaten like 9-0.
Yeah.
Or 10-0. I mean, that's an ass kicking beyond belief. I mean, that sucks. 10. Oh man, are you kidding me? 10 defensive touchdowns. Okay, folks. All right, folks. If anybody has the Dolphins defense in a fantasy league, you just got about 1,000 points. 10 defensive touchdowns. What? Or 10 offensive touchdowns. Okay. Anyway, so I'm back to the phones. I'm sorry, man. I just saw that number and I was like, I saw Ibrahim post. I'm like, 70.
I need to learn about American football, I think.
I think you'd actually, I don't know if you'd really like it a lot. I think you'd enjoy it. I think
my friend loves it. He stays up for every Super Bowl.
Yeah, 10 offensive touchdowns, 700 total yards. Anyway, but yeah, the 8 Pro. I'm curious on that periscope. It's 5x, right? 5x zoom on the periscope.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I think it's better than 3, I guess, but it's not as good as the.
I kind of likes the free.
Yeah.
Mode.
I mean, but now when you take a lot of photographs, and anybody who's been paying attention to our channel knows that you're posting them on Snapdragon and all that kind of stuff. Do you find yourself really utilizing the zoom a lot? Are you making yourself do it more because you're taking like what is your
zoom telephoto? Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I don't know. I just prefer. I don't want a zoom gap. I don't want too much of a zoom gap. And I think, Pixel do smart stuff with the zoom gap. They use the ultra wide, the main, and the telephoto and the crop bits, don't they? But like, I just want a more optical zoom gap. Right. So I like what Samsung do with the 3 and the 10.
Yeah, I do too. I do. I never used a phone that had that because I actually had the S22 Ultra, and I think it had a periscope on that, but I don't know what the focal lengths were. I mean, I
So that was 3 and 10 as well.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I didn't use it very often because I didn't have the phone very long, and then my daughter's boyfriend's using it because he had an old I think we bought him a real cheap I think it was one of the I think it was the 10. That was the cheap one. It was one of the cheaper ones, and then it just basically croaked. I was like, "Here's an S22, whatever, it's fine." But yeah, I think the Pixel 8 Pro compared to the redesign of the 6, like where we are just 2 years from now with the Tensor G3, I don't know, man. I think people
It's
are
a nice
really going to
move
be.
on.
I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with the improvements in that phone. Like I said, only thing missing would be the charging speeds. And again, depending on your situation, like for you, it's not that big of a deal, but for
No,
other people,
no.
it's a little bit more of a big deal. I'm just curious how bad it's going to be between the 8 and the 8 Pro. Like I think now we're kind of because I think a lot of those features, I don't think are on the 8, right? I think they're only on the 8 Pro.
Potentially, yeah. But there's a few good things about the 8. I think it's going to be slightly smaller than what the
Okay.
7 was, which is quite positive, I think.
Yeah.
Because some people want a smaller device, right? So,
Right. Well, I think the 8. Well, the 7 was what 6'1". I think that's what it was.
mm,
Size wise, well, this is gonna be what 5'9" or 6'0". I don't know. I guess we could look up the leaks, but I don't know. I just happen to see and to be fair and full disclosure, I'm a subscriber to Shane's channel, so
yeah,
he's
it's
always
fantastic.
put. He's amazing. He's really good content. Actually, he and Adam from Tech Odyssey. Those are my two. Like when I really just want to know the basics and um good commentary, still have their opinions, but they're doing it in a real, and it's not overly long, right? 6 to 8 minutes. I think Adam does a great job. Shane does a fantastic job. I think he's one of the, to
I'm a big
me,
fan of Shane.
yeah, Shane to me is one of the most underrated creators in the space. And if people in this chat aren't following Shane, I mean, I don't need to subscribe to anybody's channel, as far as paying paid subscription, but as far as his ability to put content out and his ability to just, I mean, so good, just so good.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Shane.
yeah, I am.
I mean, I just think he's fantastic. So a lot of times I'll see, and that's what I happen to be watching a video. And what I liked about him is he gets the information from another source, and he'll tell you, don't just listen to me. Please go to this website. Please go to this video.
Yeah, yeah.
Watch their stuff. Don't just listen to me and then stop watching them, right? I don't want to give that much commentary. He just does a really amazing job. There's a lot of really good creators out there. And I think he's getting north of 30,000 subs now. I think
Yeah,
he's
he's
getting
growing. He's growing.
yeah. Well, of course he is. I mean, because he does a really great job. And so, I mean, I definitely support his channel. And
Because I heard
Adam
him on PSC once,
yeah.
and that's how I found his channel. After listening to him on there, I thought this guy's brilliant. I liked everything you said. And I
Yeah.
looked up his channel, Scary Off Little, literally.
Yeah, and he's in and like Yara says, he's prolific. I mean, he'll put at least a daily video, but
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
2 and 3. And they're again, he's in his house and he's got he's modified it, right. He's done some painting the last time I saw, but yeah, he's a really good job. He's really really fantastic. And he seems like like if you saw him out, you would just have a good chat with him. And he does follow up videos a lot too. And yeah, that's another thing. He goes back. Yeah, and he's one of those people that if he messes up something, he gets something wrong, he has a take that doesn't pan out, he'll come on there and just eat it. He'll just say, "Yeah, that was
what I like about him as well is he revisits.
Right." He comes back to the stuff that he put, and that's what Ibrahim's saying is like, yeah, he does follow ups to those videos, and I mean, he was a huge, Duo guy, and I know it bothers him that the Duo project he's like me. I mean, the fact that the Duo project was effectively canceled, and we could talk about that too. That's a good segue actually to I guess Panos Panay is out at Surface.
Yeah.
He left to go to Amazon, and basically what it came down to was Microsoft deprioritizing Surface. Basically just not doing experimental stuff, not pushing the envelope, and just and Panos is like, look, I like to do crazy shit. That's the whole reason you brought me in was experimental and trying new stuff and trying new form factors and trying to really drive the Surface brand into not just stuff that we can mainstream.
Did you say he's gone to Amazon?
Yeah, he went to Amazon.
Amazon Duo?
No, the patents and stuff. And the problem is, but but yeah, it's just and then of course Microsoft had an event and it was pretty lackluster. I mean, it not having a Surface event and not having Panos on the screen really sucks. I'm
Weird.
sorry. It just sucks. It just no. It's not even weird. It's just not a good experience. No offense to them. I'm sure they got very qualified and capable people, but Panos had a really. I mean, and I know for a fact that Panos really gave a shit. Like to him,
Yeah, yeah,
Surface mattered to him. That was his thing,
yeah,
and
definitely, yeah.
the passion is there. The guys are doing it. Maybe they do like Surface. Maybe they're on the Surface team. I don't know, but I mean, it's never going to be the same. It's just like it's like listen to a favorite band you have, and they switch out the lead singer, and it just isn't the same. You want it to be the same, but it's just like it's not.
On the
It's not
surface of it,
right.
it's not the
Oh,
same.
boom. Right. So yeah, he's gone,
Oh,
and
dear.
yeah, and so effectively, I think they saw Surface Duo. I think Surface Studio might be, and then Surface headphones. So anything that isn't going to basically be Surface Go, like the things that make them money and are mainstream, they're putting on the back burner. And they say that back burner, but that basically means let's sit on the back burner until it falls off the stove, and then that'll be the end of it. So it's a shame because I think if they really would have pushed the market, I really think the dual screen approach, if they would have marketed better and it had some better software and really stuck with it, I think it could have got. Now, is it going to be a phone that everybody's going to use? Is it going to be a phone that basically it would be on the same level as foldables? No, but it sucks. It's just another reason why it's like, but I will tell you that I'm not disappointed that I have a Duo and I did the Duo 2. I'm really still a fan of that. I still have and I'm not getting rid of it. Matter of fact, I might decide go with Gustav Montz's Windows 11 build on it, or the Windows 13
Pixel experience.
Pixel experience. I mean, I might start messing with that and just saying hell with it. I might as well. I'm just afraid to brick it, but I can pick one up for like $200, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
but
that's my fear. Like, I'll brick it.
Yeah. Well, I have some experience with ROMing and rooting and flashing, and it doesn't appear to be complicated. Matter of fact, I think they just put out a video for Gustav. Somebody's that for the dual boot, it's a lot easier now because it was a pretty arduous kind of little thing to do to switch it. But we'll see. But yeah, it's just and I do agree to DTA. Yeah, I'm really concerned about innovation. Oh yeah, I mean, Surface is just going to basically be a Windows computer that there's not going to be anything innovative. It's just going to be kind of mainstream, anything that basically drives profit margin. And I get that. It's a company. At the end of the day, they have to make a profit. I get that. But man, it really stinks when you have a company that basically was kind of willing to, with this line of products, to kind of push the envelope of computing and form factors, and the fact that they're like, yeah, well, it's not going to make a lot of money. So it's like, but you're $1 trillion valuated company.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, I know the Surface line. I mean, you got Azure and you got all these other services, and I understand that it's hardware, but you have Windows and all the license. I mean, it's $1 trillion company. You can't let one division just kind of say screw it. Just let it. I mean, Xbox. I guess I don't know if the hardware is now. I don't know if they're making a profit on the Xbox division, but it's like, I mean, I don't know. I just don't like.
Game Pass does quite well, doesn't it?
Oh God, yeah. And that's the one thing about PlayStation that I really wish they would come up with something like a Game Pass. That would be killer.
Because
they have PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I don't use it. I will tell you that I did want to give Starfield a try because it was on Xbox Game Pass, which is kind of nice because I gave it a try. It's what it is. It's Fallout in space. Yeah, it's what it is. It's and I'm done with it already. It's like I will tell you. Already. Yeah, I'm done with it because I mean I put it. No, not at all. It's just like the Fallout games, right? There's a lot of crafting depth. There's a lot of depth. I find the story to be okay. It's okay. I mean, it's pretty sticky space stuff. When I play space games, I'm more into No Man's Sky. That's the kind of game I like. It's a little bit more. I don't know. To me, it's just like there's a lot of get on a planet, find an outpost, fight a dozen guys. All of them that you have to sit there and shoot at for 7. You have to dump 3 fucking dozen magazines into them before they die. All right. again, it's they have like the same stuff, right? They've got packs that you got boosts that you can get addicted to, and then you have chems for this. It's Fallout in a space sim. That's basically what it is, and it's a Bethesda game, so I understand that. But I just,
So I like strategy. I like,
there's none of that. There's none of
you
that.
ever played Age of Empires?
Yeah, Age of
so
Empires was fun. I used to play. Matter of fact, the guy and I were talking about that because he asked me how I like Starfield. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with it. I don't think I'm ever going to play it again. And he's like, oh, okay. And so I said, you know what I miss is a game. I remember Roller Coaster Tycoon. That was a game. I love that game. I mean, that was such a fun game. Sim City, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'm sorry, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Sim 6, the civil, Sim. No, I'm sorry, Sim City. Those are a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
The Civilization ones, although I played Civ 6 and it was okay. I remember the older Civilization games. Like I like those kinds of games.
What was
right?
the hospital one I played? By Bullfrog.
Oh. I don't remember.
They
I
had
know what
the
you're talking.
bloaty head, slack tongue,
Oh, geez.
and Elvis
Yeah.
personality disorder thing. Wow,
Yeah. I mean,
Theme Hospital.
yeah. I mean, I like those kind of games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Theme Park. And they was just kind of cool. I mean, and then some strategy games, they had to build your own theme park or build your own city and then, try to actually fix things like traffic and pollution and power supply and expansion. I thought those were kind of fun. I mean, but so Starfield's okay. Graphically it's fun. I mean, the space combat's a little lame. It's pretty straightforward, and I don't know. It's just all of it. It's just there's not enough to keep me interested. Like, man, I really want to like keep going with this. It's just like it's fun. It's enjoyable. I didn't dislike the game. I do like some of the components of the game. It was fun, but will it keep me playing for 6 months? No, not for me. Not for me.
How about this, Sam? Though, talking of gaming, how about their console games going onto the new iPhones? Being capable of doing it. Wow.
Totally okay with that.
It's pretty cool,
that's pretty amazing. And no offense, and I will say this. I know this is an Android centric show because we're both Android users, but like I said about the Pixel 8 Pro, if you were on the fence about switching to iPhone, I would tell you that the 15 series, especially the Pro and the Pro Max, if you were looking to get over there, this would be the time to do it. I'm pretty impressed with the 17 Pro, and I'm Chip. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to take, again, I think the form factor is really the limiting factor for me.
See, for me, there's a few things that put me off. One, iOS. Obviously, that's not my thing.
Right.
You're getting a lot of rumors with the thermals, aren't you, as well?
Yeah.
But then that's you get these type of things when phones first come out. People trash it. But the thing for me, I was talking about the zoom gap.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Steve Litchfield talks about it quite a lot as well at the moment.
Yeah.
Because he's got an iPhone 14 Pro Max. And he's thinking he's going to just stick with that because the 5X, where it went from 3X to 5X, there's that gap there, isn't there? And it's frustrating.
Well, especially if you're really into photography, that is going to be a problem for you. Me, that wouldn't be so much a big deal. I will tell you.
On the flip side, if you're buying it just for that reason, you shouldn't be. You're buying the wrong phone anyway. Like, buy a camera, man.
Right, exactly. At that point, just buy a DSLR or a mirrorless or something like that, right? Like I said, I will tell you that, and people who I've known who got the 15 Pro Max versus the 4, they said that the way the phone feels in their hand is so much. It's worth the upgrade alone, just between weight and the way the phone feels. That if you were
natural titanium is beautiful as well.
I think it's a sharp looking device, and honestly, if I were gonna take a swing on an iOS device, I would get a 15 Pro Max. I don't think I could go wrong with that. And here's the thing: in the United States, you better start getting ready because I think I would say in the next 5. Again, I keep saying it, and this is something that I have no other than just a gut feeling. Just call it an intuition or a gut or whatever. I would tell you in 10 years, the market share in the United States for iPhone is going to be easily north of 80%.
Sucks.
Yeah, and it's just
I'll tell you what though, Sam. for most people, the 15 and 15 plus, they're
Oh,
really
they're nice.
good moves on from
I
the
would say if
14s.
you got a 15, that's a solid phone.
That's solid, yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, again, it's depressing just because again, it feels like just in the United States with the market share, we're just creeping closer to a total lock-in by Apple. But I they've earned it. They've had good marketing, they've had solid hardware, they've had, say what you will about the OS, being there's limiting factors of that. But I in the United States, if a lot of people I just talked to, and they're like, I just like iPhone because it just works for me. We're all whole families
But
into
this
it.
is the
I'm
thing,
used to
like
it.
I'm a techie guy. Obviously, I don't like iOS and stuff like that. But for the general user, the iPhone's got everything they want. For the general user, like the fact that it's integrated with their social media apps better than Android devices are, that's more important to them.
Yep. And
How does TikTok look?
yeah. Much better on an iPhone. That's for gosh darn sure.
That's the thing, and that's more important to a lot of users. And
Well,
Apple know
especially
that.
and that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing is that's why they mark. And if you remember back in the when I was in school, they had Apple computers, right? They put them in schools and gave them schools for free because they were trying to get kids to be more Mac users. I think that's still debatable because I still think obviously Windows is way more dominant in the PC space, obviously, but that same thinking was going. Apple is targeting the new consumers. They're not targeting people like me and people like you. They don't care about us because we can switch back and forth. Because if we are techies, we'll probably be switching back and forth anyway. Or in some cases, like Trent Marshall, he has an iPhone and an Android device. He owns both. So as far as Apple concerns, even better, right? We don't care. We sold another unit. What they're doing is they're trying to make it so it's not only good hardware, that's what you want, kids like it, social media experience, but you're lame if you rock an Android phone. Like something it's socially, they've got to a point where they've made it socially unacceptable to be an Apple, an Android user in the US. Yeah. And that's and everybody's like, well, across the world, well, they care about the American market. That's an American company, Apple. They're not a British company. They're not an
Argentinian. Status thing
elsewhere
as well. Like in India, I think it's become a big status.
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah. But it's just a shame because the reason why I find it depressing is just because that's just that means another Android manufacturer is going to fall away, right? You're going to lose Motorola, or you're going to lose, and it'll just be Samsung and Apple. And the United States, most people will probably be Apple iPhone users. It's just the way it's going to be. And I honestly, I can't say that in 2 or 3 or 4 years if I need to get another phone. If I'm looking, Pixel, I hope the Pixel stays in because I'm telling you right now, if I had any choice today, I would definitely be getting an 8 Pro. That would be Pixel 8 Pro. That would be my phone, even with the foldable, just because all the features that phone's going to bring. If it sounds as good as it is, that's going to be I think it's going to be remarkable. Next would be, obviously a Pixel Fold, right? 2, right? Another upgraded, better tensor chip. I'm waiting for the 2 because I think if they can,
smart move, I think.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I told somebody else this the other day.
Definitely be a 2. I reckon it will, but
oh yeah, I can't imagine that won't be. What I told them is how long is the Pixel Fold been out?
Is it 2 months now?
2 months. Okay, let's say 60 days. Let's just make just for giggles, we'll just call it 60 days, right? So it's been out for 60 days. And so I'm gonna go ahead and on Swappa, how much do you think you can what's the lowest price you can pick up a Pixel Fold? Mind you, it's been 60 days and it was sold
at get one for 1,200.
Well, let's take a look.
I reckon.
Let's take a look.
Sam, while you're looking, did you get iOS 17 on your work phone?
No, because they got to go through all sorts of bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I've got it. And as much as I don't like iOS, when you do the contact thing?
Yeah.
When you share a contact. It's pretty cool. And the animations is what makes it even cooler.
Right.
It's so stupid, a little thing like the animation, but it really does make it look special. I give them that. I will give them that.
Yeah, I'm still on 16.6.1.
Yep, I was about
So
right, wasn't I?
yeah, 1250. So if you
Mm.
waited 60 days, you can pick up a Pixel Fold from this seller or a couple of sellers right here. If it's, and I'm just
The
curious.
next one down's Mint 1320.
Yeah. So this one's in good condition. There's been minor scuffs. Who cares? It's just on the bezels. But I mean, look,
Just
I mean,
skin it.
yeah, skin your shit. Extremeskins.co.uk. There you go. And then you get cases, you get all sorts of shit. Right. 1250, folks. 1250. Here we are already.
Give it another 2 months.
I'd say
sub
you
1K.
I say by 6 months from now, I'd say by March of next year, you can get these sub $800.
Yeah, you will.
Sub 800. Yep.
Easy.
Absolutely. And that's another reason why. So I'm curious to see what the two, I think they will do it. It's pretty crazy. And
that's the frustrating thing with Android phones, right? Like my Pixel was 949 at launch, right? If I tried to sell it now, you're probably looking at 450 if I'm lucky.
Well, and like I said, if you're in a situation where let's say you want to get, the 8, you don't want to get an 8 Pro because it's you don't want to upgrade or you don't want to do anything like that, but you want to maybe get, let's see what can I get a 7 Pro right now?
400 quid.
418.
Yeah.
It's in fair condition, so it's going to have some scuffs on it. As long as here's the thing, I'm okay with a good condition. We're at 472 on AT&T. $472.
It's crazy, isn't it? How it's only been a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, but yeah.
But a 13 Pro Max.
You already read my mind, because if you go to the Apple side of the house, and that's another thing too, if you go over to an Apple iPhone and you go,
it's just mad.
It's bonkers, man. I mean, yeah,
hold their value.
iPhone 14 Pro Max, you can still get $720 for it.
Mm-hmm. Go for 13 Pro Max, just out of interest.
13 Pro Max, okay. And let's see, iPhones. Well, you know what? I don't have to do it. I can do it while you're here. I don't have to keep it away from our awesome fans. We'll just do it right here. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Okay, here we go. All right.
Don't fuck it live.
No,
see that, Sam.
All right. 13 series. Here, 13 Pro Max. 5. Well, it depends. We'll just go with AT&T. We'll go to unlocked. Get an unlocked one. Fair condition is at 627.
So that's more expensive than a Pixel 7 Pro.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, and in a good condition one with 256 gig, you're at almost $700.
It's a good phone, to be fair. That's what my work phone is.
Yeah. Oh, I asked for the Pro Max. They gave me the Pro. I mean, they just gave me the iPhone 13. I just wanted for the bigger battery, just because I do a lot of stuff on my phone. But yeah. I mean, some of these are good. Here's a $700. It's not even fair.
Sam, with iOS, do you find there's like always extra steps to do things? Just that extra step.
Yeah, but
that's what I find. That's what maybe it's because I'm not used to it. I always find there's an extra swipe or an extra touch somewhere to do what I want to do.
But you know what? I think for people who are so used to iOS, that's all they've used for the last 5 or 6 years or 10 years. It doesn't bother them. Again, I mean, and again, we're thinking about this, and remember, we're thinking about this as tech enthusiasts, but you have to think about it as a person who's just buying a phone, who isn't really into all that kind of stuff. And they listen. Apple. I know people think, well, Apple just gives you what they want. Yeah, they do, but their users don't want more than that.
No.
And when they do finally, I mean, nobody running USB-C. That was a European Union mandate, right? So that's why
they want to share contacts with a fancy animation. That's what they want.
And here's the funny thing: you don't like iOS, but you thought that was kind of slick.
Yeah,
and see,
because it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing that iOS is trying. It's like they're not trying to convert you today. They're looking for people like. For their users, it's like their users don't care about 120 hertz.
But that's why I like Pixel, because the Pixel experience is similar in that sense. They do think about the user and what they want to do with their phones.
Yeah, I think Google does. But
I mean, let's face it, Tensor isn't the most powerful chipset, right? Because it's AI based. and that's around making the phone smarter for you.
Right. I think that,
I don't work for Google, by the way. I just sound like I do.
but he could. And if Google's hiring,
If they're
give
hiring.
give that guy a bunch of money. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, but I mean, the problem is it's like comparing Apple users and the general users who buy their phones, right, and upgrade to their phones, and then Android users, for the most part, don't really care either. I mean, I know
No.
they say, well, they really don't. Not normal people.
That's the thing, Sam, right? I like using the swipe gestures on Android, right? Do you know how many people come in? They've still got the three buttons.
The three buttons
on the screen.
Yeah. And that's why Android didn't get rid of it all. They allow that as an option
because many people still want it.
Right. And because that's what people want. They could easily code that out and not allow it, but they allow it because who do they care?
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is at this point now is phones are no longer a luxury item. A smartphone now is a kind of a thing that everybody has. I mean, even people that I work with who are old, the flip phone people, they finally got their first smartphone and they don't give a rip about any of this stuff. They look at me with the foldable or have a different phone or whatever, and they look at me like, it's like, why do you do that? It's like, don't you? I was like, well, because I'm an enthusiast and I talk about it and I have a podcast. And, to me, it's interesting and fascinating. And I like to have those discussions. But I would say the majority of people just want a phone that works. Like they're okay with that extra, it's like they don't mind the extra swipe. They don't looking at it like you do. Like they don't see like, well, I could probably make this more an efficient process if I get rid of the swipe, if I change this gesture, if I just move this around, or change this UI element to make it work better. They're just so used to, watch somebody use an iPhone. They never struggle with it. I've never seen them go, man, I really wish it would do this. They don't ever say that. They just, first of all, right. It's us that struggles with it because we have
get used to as well, isn't it?
Right. So, it's muscle memory, right? It's UI memory. You're used to seeing, but that's the beauty of iOS. It doesn't change. You can go back to an iOS device from 5 years ago and really nothing has massively changed except for the drawer. But they're like,
funny you say that though. iOS 17, one of my team, he was showing me the contacts. And he goes, it looks like Android. I don't like it. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, that's funny. He's like, and it's just, again, it's that's where we are right now. It's and it's just in the US, it's just gonna snowball. The momentum is already there. It's just a matter of time. I mean, you're just
at a point though, right, where iOS and Android is the most similar they've ever been.
Yeah, and it will continue to because the features make sense. It makes sense to have gestures for a phone. It makes sense to have certain features, right? It makes sense to have, but again, the differences, refresh rates versus this versus that. I would say that most of the users that we talk about, and that's who they're marketing to. They're not marketing to us.
I talk about refresh rate all the time, right? Because they say that people ask me, what's the difference between the 15 and 15 Pro? And I say, oh, this one's got 120 hertz screen. They look at me glass-eyed like, what?
What does that mean?
And that's when I say to them, oh, you might not notice it.
Well, and again, that's another thing. It's subjective. I've said people, and I can tell you, everybody says you don't notice it. You do.
You do.
If you're used to seeing a 60 hertz, and like when I took the Fold and I pushed it down to 60 just for battery. And by the way, if you do that on a Fold 5, I was using it pretty heavily, pretty consistently for about 4.5 hours. I only burned like 30%. It's good. The Fold 5's battery is a lot better than I anticipated it would be.
Does Fold 5 have LTPO?
Yeah, I think so.
It does. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it adjusts, but I just basically took it off the well, I think they call it adaptive and standard or something. I don't know what they call it. I just put it on 60 and locked it to 60, and honestly, it works fine. I like having the bit more runtime, but to say that you don't notice it, for me, I do. Now, most people don't. Maybe some people just look at it, they say, I don't see the difference. And if you don't care. And even
it depends what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, you're right. It just depends on what you're doing. And that's with anything. Battery life, screen tech, charging. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. And not everybody's doing the same thing.
Do you know what I do to show people? I start going like this, scrolling on the screen, right? But then I think about it and I think, How often do you actually do that?
You never do that. The same thing. I'm going to open these, open, close, open, close, open, close, open. Nobody's doing that. Stupid.
Them
Yeah.
videos kill me, man.
Yeah. Something I noticed when we moved back to Android 3 years ago after using MS. To me, Android is simpler. Yeah, and I agree. And actually, to further that point, I would say Windows Phone's UI was a lot simpler to use and a lot more. I thought it was a lot more straightforward to use and a lot easier to use for most people. I thought really Windows Phone, when it came to people just being want to click on a thing and do a thing, I thought Windows Phone did it, especially the live tiles and having little information, real quick blurb, it was great. I loved Windows Phone. Again, we're not going to go down that path because we don't have enough time in the show. But
that's another show.
And I agree that Pixel's simpler to use. But that's again an opinion based on your experience on using devices. I don't think it's incorrect at all. That's the problem is all these things are so subjective. And I saw that John Prosser put out an interesting video. If you watch it, I do like Front Page Tech. I think John does a pretty good job with this channel. I think it's enjoyable to watch. But I mean, he
upset a few creators though.
Of course he did. And fuck them. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? Here's the thing. You have to be willing, if you're in this tech space, you have to be willing to get your feelings hurt. You have to be willing to let people not agree with your take and people to be shitty about it, or could be personal. They could be. I mean, I know there's a lot of people.
Do you know what I see too much of, Sam? Though I see a lot of takes on Twitter X, and they're saying things that they've done.
Yeah, I don't.
Ironic. I hate when people do this, and it's something they've done.
Yeah, it's like,
what are you talking about, man?
And that's why when you have a take, and I think that's where people get upset about is if you're going to have a take, you better be able to defend it.
Yeah,
and you better not get caught stepping in a thing you said you weren't going to do. Because if you look like a hypocrite, they're going to chew right through you. And it's like, and how many times are we going to see people just put it out there thinking that nobody's going to do it? There's always somebody willing to look and dig. And every video, they'll watch everything. Or it's funny, they won't watch it, but they'll remember like 3 months ago, watching one of yours ago, wait a second, I remember in a video that guy did 3 months. Wait a minute. And they'll, in their mind, it'll click for them. They'll remember the incident and they'll go, wait a second.
There's different types of trolls. And you're describing one of them that will they will go back and find the dirt.
So basically, don't have that take, or be willing, if you're going to have that take and somebody gets online and roasts you for it, whether it's
completely is wrong.
Yeah. You have to let the ego go.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And I think, and that's not just in the tech space, that's just in everything, right? Just assume you don't know everything. And just because you have 16 million followers does not mean you're above, and not just get on there and go, oh, well, like Mr. Who's a Boss using a device that he got handed to him that was using development software. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah,
you mean to tell me you didn't know that? Come on, man, get the hell out of here. Now, why he did it, that's up, I can't get into Aaron's mind, right? Because I'm not there. However, that's kind of a like, you clearly compared it against a device that you knew, or you should have known, was not commercially available. So it was a different device. It wasn't a fair assessment. Now, did he do it intentionally?
About the Samsung.
Yeah, when he did the comparisons of the camera comparisons.
Yeah, and it wasn't on the latest software.
Yeah, it wasn't on the latest software. Yeah. And somebody called him out. Yeah, because I guess he said it had it was an S23.
Because the 2X wasn't showing on the UI, wasn't it?
Again, people pick up on that, and it's like, if you're gonna be in this business and you're detail oriented, and and that's why whenever I talk about devices, I'll tell you when I don't know the specs on. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Like,
I'm pretty clueless sometimes.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to be. I mean, I'm not trying to talk about a device. We're not reviewing. I'm not reviewing phones. I don't care about that.
I'm just selling them.
So I just sell them at a store, which I'm sure you do a great job. So,
what's happening? Dog's there again.
Yeah, I think they're chewing on something. That's okay. That's all right. Who cares? That's fine.
Good, man.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just it's like, if you put your business in the street, you're going to have to take some criticism, and a lot of times it's not going to be fair, and you're going to have to just I get it. I know I guarantee you there are people out here who have listened to a show and they don't like it and they think we're stupid or they
I
don't
can
like
guarantee that.
guarantee it. And you know what? And they can come online and say, you two are the stupidest guys on, no wonder your channel or your podcast only has 50 to 70 viewers. Clearly you're not successful enough. And
One of
again,
them is me when I look back at it. And
right. No. There you go. I know what happened. You just you were gone and then you weren't gone. I didn't touch nothing. Yeah, for like half a second. You're back though.
Oh,
it's okay. I don't know. I didn't touch nothing. I was just sitting here. I was just living my life, right?
It wasn't me.
And the reason why is because I don't have the ego here. Like I don't, I want to have a good show. I like to be professional. I like to sound great. I like to, I like to do this, and I don't want to be terrible. But at the end of the day, if people have consider, if they have feedback, and even if it's critical, even if like you guys suck, very, very, very possible.
To be fair, I think we could do with some feedback.
Yeah, and if anybody, and here's the thing, don't always tell us we're great. If there's something you don't like or whatever, and I'm perfectly willing to get on some of these channels and have a constructive, like, hey, and I remember Adam Dowd, Benefit of the Doubt, another fantastic creator you should check out.
He's a great guest.
Yeah. I love Adam. He's just a great dude because he's a little he's willing to kind of push it as far as like what he says. He's kind of willing to be kind of edgy. I like that.
He knows his shit though.
He's very smart. I like Adam a lot. I just generally like people like Adam, and I think he's intelligent. And
although he's like by far the smartest guy in the room when he was with us, he didn't act like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean that was what it was. Again, it's
cool.
Not the ego. The ego isn't backing it, right? And I get it. And let's see what I don't watch many of the pop. I get bored of the content that was being put out. Just watch smaller. Yeah, and I agree. I think that, to me, I think you should do both. Honestly, I mean, if you don't watch the big guys, or gals, cool, get it. That's not a thing. However, I think a lot of the really good content, the stuff that really I think works for me better, what really is more enjoyable, that I get better watches, is content from creators that are a lot more smaller, who are just doing it for love of the game.
Although one of our big time favorites, Techspert.
Oh, dude,
he's not small at all anymore.
No, I mean I think when we first had him on the Nomad Tech, Across the Podcast, I think it was at maybe 300K, and I already knew that Chris was going to be. He was one of those creators because he's just fantastic, and he's another guy. Told everything that I saw online, and every time I've talked to him offline, he's exactly like that.
Yep.
It's not a show. It's not a shtick. He's totally put down on earth. That is him. That is him.
His sock.
And yeah. And again, benefit of the doubt. Check it out, man. It's even if you'll like it, even if you don't maybe care for Adam and the approach, maybe definitely one of the more, again, a creator that doesn't get enough love, and him and Cliff do a really great job. As a matter of fact, to be honest, this microphone right here was a gift from Clifton Thomas, because he had an extra one and he came on. He said, "Man, I'm going to send you a mic." And I said, "You don't have to." I mean, I don't. He goes, "No." I really, again, very gracious. I love Adam and Clifton. Yeah, fantastic guys, just great. And there's a lot of those creators. I mean, we couldn't even name them all. But yeah, they have a really good style, and a lot of people have good styles. And so I would say watch both. I think there is some value in Aaron's content. I think if you like
don't get me wrong, Mr. Who's a Boss does some very entertaining ones. I like it when he buys the stuff off Wish.
Oh,
I find it really entertaining.
And go for, and then like I said, I still every once in a while, not every video, but I still do watch MKBHD's content. I still do watch his videos. I think they're enjoyable. Now, am I going to his channel because if I was going to buy a device, would I go to Marquez? No, I wouldn't go. But again,
not for that. No,
not for me. I just don't think that's not. I don't think that's the content he's presenting. But that's just how I approach it.
I like Tom the Tech Chap. Yeah,
there's a lot of good guys. Tom the Tech Chap, Mike Fry does a fantastic job. I mean, a lot of guys do a really awesome job, and we have them on the show. I like to engage with them. I think Easy Computer Solutions, I think Eric does a great job. I think all that stuff is good. I mean, there's so many great creators, and they're down to earth, normal people that just you can have conversations with, and they're just good, solid.
He's not a creator though; he's a preacher.
Yeah, he's a tech preacher. He is a proselytizing machine. I like, and again, I like the fact that I reached out to him. We're a small podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, man," and he's one, and he loves it. and Barry Johnson. I said, are you saying that? He goes, no, he goes, I really like you guys. I don't know what you guys just, I like you guys. I was like, okay, I appreciate it. And then of course there's Flossie Carter, who, I mean, seriously, probably and the funny thing is it's so formulaic, it just clicks. You could just sit here and just, you know what he's going to say, #bars, White Shoes is in the bill. You know it. You can. It's funny as his videos are so good. You know exactly what he's going to say and how he's going to say it and when he's going to say it, and you can follow along. And I quite often do.
But
much to the irritation of my wife.
He can still surprise you with what he says sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You think, oh, Flossie's not going to like this product, and then he surprises you.
Right. And I will tell you, he has hour and 20-minute videos. I'll watch the whole damn thing. The whole damn thing. Like I would like not start to finish because I have something, but I will come back and watch the rest of it. Even about devices that I'm not even interested or not going to buy. I just to find, because I find his content and his commentary and his presentation just that enjoyable. It's just and does a good job too.
Buy into the person, right?
Oh yeah,
Flossie's a cool guy. Yeah,
absolutely. And so yeah, I do too, and that's why we do the podcast. That's why I don't want to do anything more than this. This is what I want to do, and I always like hearing feedback, even positive or negative. I mean, obviously everybody wants to hear they're doing a great job, but I'm always willing to. And even if people just think we suck and just want to be and watch the world burn, that's okay too. You don't have to listen.
I suck at doing videos and I suck at podcasting, but I enjoy it.
I mean, and this is the way I approach, and I listen. I will tell you that we've gotten better. I know we've gotten better considering the fact where we came from all these episodes ago when we first started this to right now. And next week,
I couldn't have got worse, to be fair, Sam.
Nah,
really bad.
Trust me, I've done worse. Trust me, it's there. You can get there. Trust me, it doesn't take much. But I get what you're saying.
I have done worse.
Yeah, we have.
I'm in the pub.
Oh, dude. That was actually the greatest. Dude, when you came on, I was like, oh man, he is totally pissed. This is going to be this is going to go one of two ways. Either this is going to be a really good show or this is going to just be, this is awesome. And even Shane was like, I could not imagine of doing a show where the guest comes on and is drunk off his ass. And it couldn't have been better. It was great, but I think that's the thing that would never even get out of some of these other podcasters. They would never even put that. They would just cut the feed immediately. They would have said, fuck this. Or that would have been the end of it, right? If you would have showed up like that, they would have said, look, I'm not working with Joe anymore. He can't even come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for us, it's like, I thought it was, and I even said to Shane, I was like, hey, look, I really apologize. Usually Joe is not intoxicated. Usually it works out really good, right?
Yeah, usually, I promise.
and then he was actually really looking forward to this show because he's a big fan of yours. And Shane was like, no, man. He goes, that worked out perfectly because it was just hilarious. It was just, it was so not what I was, it wasn't what I was expecting. Right. And I think that's what made it so enjoyable for him. He didn't have to come on and put on this facade and say all the things and make sure he doesn't say this. Right. He comes on the show and there's one of the guests is drunk off his ass in a pub going, it's just like, it's perfect. It is so perfect, man. It just works. It's just
we need to get him on again. And I apologized on Twitter and
oh yeah. And the funny thing is,
I need to apologize again.
No, you don't. And matter of fact, I'd like to have Shane on again at some point and and see how he's getting on. I mean, I follow him, so I kind of know, but he's another great guest, like I said. So how we're going to do this is, I guess next Sunday we should have TK Bay, and that'll be the last. Was that now? Have we decided that was going to be the first show of the new season, or is that going to be the final show? And then we're going to start season 3 on the 8th. I thought we were going to end with TK Bay.
Yeah, I think we should end with TK. That's
I think so
way
too.
To end this season, yeah.
Yeah, I would say we should end with TK Bay, and then that'll be it. And then season 3 kicks off, and we're going to have a little bit of a format change. We're not going to have so many different kinds of guests. We're going to basically have a regular, like having Dan on, having Fat Produce on, and having obviously Juan if he's available, and TK and all those guys, and Jermaine's.
Another thing I'd like to do as well, just like we had a teacher on, I'd like to have him on again. Ibrahim, if you'd like to come on sometime. We'd love to have some of you guests on as well. If you're up for it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that is never going to change. So anybody who watches the show, who contributes and anything else,
Jimmy Fire Dragon.
yeah. And even and here's the thing, you don't have to be, I know it's a little weird. I understand this is not like the best, I know it's a little awkward for a lot of people, but realize that, if you're gonna dip your toe in the water and get out there and just have a good conversation, I promise this is the best format to do it because
come on our show.
It's not going to be
just
going out
chatting.
Yeah, we're just buddies chatting, man, and we try to do it. So he says one day. Okay, well we'll take that. That's fair enough.
We'll take that, everyone. Yeah.
But yeah, and then but Aditya is definitely going to come back on. And I think that's cool because then there are people like Aditya and everybody else wants to see. We'd love to have a chat. Like it was great having Peter on last week. That was great, man. I had a good time because I'd always see him in the chat. He was always such a really smart individual making comments. I was like, let's get him on and let's talk about it. So, again, had a good talk after the show. It was great. So
this is the direction we're going. We're going to be talking to our buddies a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to be. And then we'll just have shows like this where it's just me and Joe talking about whatever and see what's going on. But yeah, I mean, just stay tuned. Season 3 will be better. We'll improve. We'll get better, and we'll still be dorks. And
if we don't get better, we won't get worse.
Right. Well, maybe. I don't know. There may be a couple. Maybe. We may still lay some eggs because I mean, that's us. I mean, we
may start drinking on every podcast.
Well, and the funny thing is, don't forget, you were not the only person that showed up on a podcast and tried to. I remember the show I was on with Matt, and I mean, I don't know what
That's true. Yeah,
I don't know what the hell happened because I didn't drink any more than I normally do, and by halfway through that show,
it escalated quickly.
It got out of control in a hurry, and boy, that was embarrassing. I was like, yeah.
You brought the rum from Puerto Rico. And you brought the high proof stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I quick story. So we went on our trip to Puerto Rico. That was commentary by my wife because of course when I try to forget shit,
we should get your wife on. Actually,
she'll never do this show with us.
Really?
No, she doesn't want to do.
Oh come on.
Well, I think if we got Lauren and her, maybe we could pull it off. If we do a wives show, maybe we can pull it off. But anyway, So I forgot that when I went to Puerto Rico, we didn't go to the Bacardi distillery. We asked, like, is there more of a not a touristy one? They go, yeah, there's another distillery here in Puerto Rico. The name of it's called Ron de Barrilito. And if you don't speak Spanish, that is the rum in little barrels.
Oh,
and cool. It was this little, and it was great, man. It was a great tour. It was maybe a dozen people. Anyways, they had a version of their rum that was, the basic stuff. They had 5-star, which was like it was like $750. That was the kind of rum you sip like for a special occasion. But then they had this other one. It's really cheap. It's called Santa Ana. It's 151 proof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Well, anyway, that hits a little differently than stuff you can buy at the store, right? Than your Captain Morgan's and your Myers. And oh yeah. And so I had a couple of glasses of that, and boy, the second one hit me like a freight train. And boy, I'm telling you what, it's got a lot of horsepower. What is the leather jacket guy? Ooh, check out this one. It's 41 horsepower. Yeah, YouTube. He's great. Irish guy. Yeah, it had a lot of sting on it, man. I mean, 151, it's like, it was hard. And the funny thing is, it was the least expensive of all the line. It was like $20 a bottle. So Becky had bought me and had it imported from, and that's what I had that day. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. I had regular, two of these, and it was game time.
I feel like I need to try that now.
Yeah. And if you go online, you could actually, now it's cool is at the time they didn't ship outside the United States, or outside of Puerto Rico. I'm sorry. You couldn't get it. And we brought 2 bottles home. I think they ship worldwide. I guarantee they ship to the U.S. And if they do, I'll get you some to the U.K. I don't know how that's going to work with customs. I don't know if you can sell. I think you can send booze to the U.K., right? If a bottle is sealed, I think you can. I don't know. Maybe there's.
No idea.
Who knows? I mean, you should. It's the UK. I mean, you guys drink all sorts of shit. I mean, I can't imagine why we get all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I know they have rum in the UK. I know it's a thing, right? So. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. And since. Fuck it, because this is a long show. Who gives a shit, right? Who gives a shit? Okay, it's Ron de Barrilito. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll share. Why not? What else we got to do today? Yeah, you got to sleep, but whatever. You can sleep. You can sleep later.
Slept much recently, anyway.
All right, so here's the. Let's see, where. Okay, here's the website. Yes, I'm older than 21, unfortunately. Yeah. So this is the tour. It was great, man. It's like a little local kind of thing, and they give you a tasting. They had the flights of all the rums, and dude, yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, so yeah,
I like the name. It's a cool name.
Ron de Barrilito. Yeah, rum of little barrels, rum in little barrels. So 5-star. This stuff is wild, man. It comes in that. Yeah, it's crazy. You can get it. But the stuff is called the 2 stars. I don't know if they sell the Santa Ana products. I think it's. Let me see.
They don't have the ability to ship to Europe.
They don't sell. Oh, they don't ship to Europe. Well, that's okay. We'll get you some, and then we'll get you. But yeah. So this was the stuff, man. And it was anyways. They had, and I don't see it on the website though. But man, it was yeah, it was crazy.
So anyone wants to get blind drunk, that's what you do, guys.
Let's see.
We need to get Techspert some. He will love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I don't see it on the website, which is weird. Would figure.
Talking of Techspert, did you see he had like an apple crumble beer?
Apple crumble beer.
Or
what?
apple pie beer, I think it was.
Okay.
He
Sure.
said it was awful.
Yeah, and so they had like a little bar there. It was nice, man. You went to visit it. It was cool. I mean, it was a neat. It was a neat. Yeah, it was a neat trip, man. I really, and they have regular. You can get you get little drinks there that was pretty good. Yeah, it was good, man. We had a good time. Yeah, this is the yes. You get all of them. They give you a little flight.
Is it white rum?
I think the Ron de Barrilito, I think it's clear, but I can't swear to it. Or the Santa Ana, I think it's clear or it's really light. I know yeah, it's really light, but yeah, it was a neat tour. Like I really dug, I dig this place. Like if I go back to Puerto Rico, we are definitely doing this again. It was a lot of fun. So, but anyway, oh wait, is it not showing the actual website? Oh, I got to share. I got to reshare that. All right, let me try this. Oh, that's right. Let me see. Present, share. There we go. I was not sharing it.
It's coming.
There it goes. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. So it's cool, man. And yeah, it's cool. It's a neat, you do the tour, and that's what we did. I mean, it's a neat facility, man. It's cool, man. This is where the tastings happen. This is that's the old house where the owner used to live. And over here on this side is the bottling area. And it's just like you walk in, it's just like a small little bottling area, man. It was cool, man. It was a really neat time. And I mean, and to be fair, I love Puerto Rico. Just putting out there, it's a blast. But boy, driving around, boy, you better drive like
you said before, yeah.
Oh, dude, you gotta drive like an absolute fucking maniac. It's great, man. And it works for me because yeah, it's really good. And they have like little flights, and then they have a whole you could order stuff, and they had some really cool.
I like dark rum normally, but I do drink white rum as well. I drink both really.
Yeah,
I drink most things.
So you
can be truthful.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, that's pretty good. But yeah, the 5-star was kind of cool. So it comes in like this oak, and it comes. These are like 35-year casks, and this whole row when you go down there and look at some of the casks are like from the 80s, from the 70s.
Oh, that looks nice.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. And yeah, but this stuff, I think it was $7.50 a bottle. I think is what they were asking.
Authentic's the word. Oh, Barry Johnson's here.
Yeah, yeah, engineer, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, new channel. Who this? Right,
putting rum on the screen, and Barry arrived.
Right, exactly. They have mozzarella sticks.
Mozzarella sticks.
I don't think so. Maybe not there, but yeah, Puerto Rico. Yeah, and Luis is in the chat. Absolutely, yeah, Puerto Rico, man. Awesome time. Awesome time. I love it. And plus, you don't need a passport, which is great because it's the American protectorate. So it's great. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun. I'd like to go back again someday. So anyway, but yeah, it's cool, man. So yeah, we'll have a good time. I think we'll have the boss on. We'll have TK Bay on. We'll end the season. We'll start off right. And well, like I said, anybody who ever wants to come on, please reach out to us. You can email us. You can send us a Twitter message. We're never going to lock our Twitter down as far as making any kind of subscription, or if you want to, we keep, messages open, DM, so you can just reach out to us or pop us in the chat or just, say something to us. We don't care. Yeah. It's all good, man. So,
all about having our buddies on now as guests.
Absolutely. That's what we that's what we do this for. We do this for our buddies, and because clearly we're not doing it for hundreds of millions of Americans and people around the world, right? We're just having our buddies and have a good chat. And I said, and it would not be I would not be doing due justice if I did not tell you how much I've appreciated it, because I really didn't want to come back and do any kind of show. I was kind of done with podcasting after the Across the Podcast. I just like, I didn't have any interest. I had filled.
I forced him.
And he brought me out of, I guess, self-inflicted retirement, and here I am now. So, and it's, and Becky thanks you for that, Joe.
No, I don't.
She doesn't.
Does she?
No.
Sorry.
That's okay. You'll live. It's fine. But yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a really good thing. I love having you on. We have a good time. We talk all the time throughout the week and send videos and pictures and stuff, and it's great. Well, it's a great friendship, and I've appreciated all the moments we've shared over the last year and a half or whatever we've been doing this. So
Yeah,
hopefully
man.
it continues. And
Absolutely. And we've got our community now on MeWe.
yeah, the MeWe group and and that kind of thing too. So it'll be good times. Yeah. I've had a couple of people join up, and we've just sent us a little thing. It's real simple. If you know how to fill out the request, send out, join us on MeWe, and it's a good time. And then join other people on MeWe. I need the phone show chat and all the stuff that anybody else is contributing. There's a ton of
phone show chat. I've got a busy weekend, haven't I? Next weekend, I'm going to be on with Steve and Ted.
Yeah,
on the Saturday. Then we've got TK on the Sunday.
Yeah, you're going to be a busy podcaster person, so it'll be good. Yeah, so they're having Joe on. I can't wait. I'm going to be.
I regret that.
Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be a good time.
It'll
Like I
cool.
said, and so listen to that and check that out. So yeah, if you don't listen to the phone show chat, it'll be a fantastic time. Joe's going to be on there, and it'll be good. We really appreciate that. And yeah, Scott Peachy took a break too, but he's back regularly doing the Technically Speaking podcast. Yep, and Scott Peachy's another good one. Check him out. I like Scott. Scott does good work. So and Easy's podcast on the Wednesdays, and of course then you've got Gigi's podcast and the members only, and then you got LaShawn's podcast on Friday nights. There's tons of stuff going on, right? There's always some stuff to do, and I apologize for going off a little late today. I had some grocery shopping and stuff to take care of, so I apologize.
He bought shoes.
I bought shoes and a purse, a handbag. It was great. I got some mascara. It's awesome. It's gonna be a good time. We'll be good. Anyways, no, I didn't. Anyway, so again, next week we got TK again.
Buddy.
Now we have the Nomad Tech Project YouTube channel. Now it's all aligned. We're really excited about that. We can't look and go check that out because we're getting up to that 8-8 Pro time. So it's going to be hopping over there. It's going to be a good time.
19 Pixel Lenny's going to be all over it.
Absolutely. So that'll be a good time. So again, we appreciate Lenny and all the team over there for their support over all these years, and we really appreciate everything they've done for us. They've been fantastic. So, and also to our guests and Ibrahim and DT and everybody, and Barry, for everybody showing up, and Scoop was in here earlier. I realized it's NFL season, so they're going to be watching too. Sean showed up. I know he's been paying attention. He's a big football fan. So during this time of year, this is prime football time. So, and we're taking away from
prime football time.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, we appreciate it. You got El Jefe on Sundays as well. So make sure you check out Jeff's
Yeah, he's
stuff
on
too.
probably now, isn't he?
He's on now. So I'm sure if again, that's another reason why we like to go off early, because I don't want to encroach on Jeff's time. But anyways, it'll be a good time. So we're almost at 1 hour and 30 minutes, man. So it's been a good chat. It's a good show. And like I said, we'll finish out strong next week, and then we'll be back for our season, and won't be any gaps. We'll be back. I think it's the 8th, right? Is the next show. Yeah. That would be back for that. And it'll be a good time. And we'll find some interesting guests, and definitely some of our fan favorites and some of our tech chaps and our community people. It's going to be a good time. And again, we love you all. We really appreciate you listening to this and telling anybody about it, and just listening, even if you don't tell anybody about it, and you want to just enjoy it.
Appreciate any of you giving us your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating, and thanks for just being great tech community people and just general great humans all around. So we appreciate you. So we'll be back next Sunday. We're going to go off at 2:00, so that we should be okay with that. We'll go off with TK. We'll finish out the year strong, and we appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for coming by. Again, enjoy your tech. Take care of yourselves, and be excellent to each other. And we'll catch you next week. Be awesome. And if you can't be awesome, be really cool, and maybe not as awesome. And maybe come back to it next week. What do you think?
Yeah, just strive to be awesome.
Sounds good. All right, man. For myself and for Joe, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week. Again, 2:00 with TK. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.